For many years I knew the lady who's now married to a local Mozambican. I met her when I was showing the film called Jesus in Zulu around South Africa. I bumped into her and got to know her and her ministry. And then when she married the local Mozambican, I became interested in what they were doing, establishing schools in southern Mozambique in an area that's totally neglected, south of Maputo. There were no government schools whatsoever. And so by means of the schools, they were reaching the locals with the gospel. And they built schools with their bare hands. And so I was in relationship with them, and then I joined Grace in 1995, and Mark fully supported what I was involved with. And so the church got involved.
And so, on Thursday, the 6th of July 2006, just on 90 of our Grace Family Church members pulled out of the comfort zone of Grace at 4:30 in the morning, heading north on a 5-day mission to southern Mozambique. In Shishliwi, we pulled into the Shishliwi Inn, where Dudley treated us to a full breakfast buffet before pressing on towards the Mozambican border. While some of us queued for passport control, others spent a quiet time of prayer before negotiating the sandy dirt tracks that would take us to our destination. We received word that Katwani's building material was incorrectly delivered to Mamoli. So while we stopped for lunch, the Katwani team went on to Mamoli to collect their goods. As soon as the Katwani team returned, we split, half going to Mamoli and the other half to Katwani. Our host camp in Mamoli was very humble, with no hot water, but at least we had cold showers and proper toilet facilities.
Here at Mamoli, the community is very small. It's a difficult group of people. They say that the Mazingiri and there's one group higher up in Belankulus, I think, are the most difficult people to evangelize in the country.
The Katwani, on the other hand, was very basic. Absolutely no showers and no toilet facilities.
The people there is very much into witchcraft. I think it is the same here, but because the population there is very big, so you just see much more, and you see also a lot of demons manifesting in people's lives.
By the time the sun set, our camp was all set up. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the stillness of night was shattered by a sound totally unfamiliar to the city dwellers. The next morning, old Nando was not the most popular rooster in camp, with threats of possibly landing up in the pot. After breakfast, the building team got an early start loading the material they required to build a house in Gala, some 20 kilometers from Mamoli, but which took just on an hour to get there because of poor road conditions. Our first task was to demolish the local pastor's house and relocate it to a new site next to the recently relocated church. At the building site, we had a quick meeting to discuss a plan of action. And then everyone went into a serious building mode. Katwani, a similar project was on its way. The ministry team in Galo moved from kraal to kraal, meeting with the locals, participating in a time of worship, preaching the gospel through an interpreter, and praying for those in need. At Katwani, the ministry follows very much the same pattern. They also went into a clinic where they assisted with those in need of medical attention.
It is wonderful to see what has happened in Katwan. There were quite a few people who couldn't walk because of witchcraft. Today they're walking. And yeah, because people see something is happening, so more people come to the church and seek for help. So I do believe our presence has meant a lot.
Back at Galo, we came across some locals alongside the road, and we seized the opportunity of sharing some songs of praise with them. Talk to them about Jesus, listen to their needs, and pray for them. At the next kraal, we really hit a bonus. Some kind of festival was taking place, which means there were a lot of people from neighboring kraals. So we had a good turnout and great participation as we shared a time of worship and fellowship with them.
Ngizomphelela yena ngizomphelela yena kuze kube phakade hamba noJesu indlela yonke hamba noJesu hamba noJesu.
In the meantime, the catering team were hard at work preparing dinner. Even the local puppies hung around in anticipation of a square meal. The setting sun was a beautiful backdrop as we shared a time of worship, a perfect end to a rewarding day. Then the multitude had to be fed. The campfire became the focal point of the evening. Here we all gathered to spend time sharing songs, and the local kids participated in full harmony.
All the kids gathered around the campfire and we were singing songs with them. They were teaching us songs. We were teaching them some of the songs that we had learned. And it was just a fellowship around that fire where we just really bonded with those kids.
This was also a great time to share our experiences.
Since I've been here, like, God's just changed something in my heart. Like, I was just in the kraals today and sitting with the locals, like, and my heart was just going out for these kids and to these old ladies and stuff, which is something that's been unusual for me because I've never really had like a heart for people, you know. And I found myself like deeply moved in compassion and wanting to give them a hug, you know.
It's humbling to know what you actually need in life and all the extra stuff that we add to it that is just so not necessary.
Today in the Malangan area, we went to like all the members of that pastor's church with him. And I mean, these people, like some of them literally have nothing, like a little reed hut, and they're eating roots for breakfast, lunch, dinner, tea, porridge. That's what they're surviving on. And they've got such a joy.
Like our spirits connecting, and we were able to communicate in spite of not understanding a word each person was saying. And just having the girls braiding my hair and putting the face paint on me, I felt so loved by them, and I was just like, I'm here to love you, what's going on?
The next day the building team once again left for Gala. The kids ministry got on its way, and we left with Dudley to minister in Malangan. At Malangan we came across a bit of a disaster. At the local pastor's kraal, his son's reed hut had been burned down to the ground. The boys left for school and work, forgetting to put out the candle, with disastrous consequences. All that remained was a bucket bed and a few pages of the Bible. But besides the loss, they were happy to receive us. One of the previous projects was to build this home.
And then they wanted to extend that, and so Grace Family Church gave 3,000 Rand. And what we're standing in here at the moment is what they've been able to do with that. They've made their own blocks, and they've built the house to this stage.
After praying for a blessing on this house and laying hands and praying for the pastor and his wife, it was time to move on. As I had the builder's lunch in my car, we split from Dudley and went on to Gala to deliver the food and see what progress had been made on the house. The building team were doing very well, and within no time at all, the 4 walls were standing. And what the guys could do, the girls could do better. And of course, with all the hammering and sawing, injuries were inevitable. In Katwani, the building team were also doing a great job. The kids' ministry in Mamoli, Gala and Katwani was a real blessing, not only to the kids, but also for the kids' ministry team that would share in the shared joy of the children. once again, as evening set in, the campfire drew us like a magnet. On the Sunday, we went along to Gala to attend a church service with the local people. Because the building project was still in need of some attention, the building team continued to work while the church service was in progress. The service was a moving experience with songs and preaching of the gospel by Roy and Brad. Brad, on the other hand, also had to juggle between being a preacher and being a carpenter, but he pulled it off pretty well. At Katwani, the church service was really well attended, with a vibrant time of worship, a real blessing to all that were there. With the church service coming to an end and the building projects completed, our work was done. However, other projects were still in progress. One that was extremely well attended was Annette's shop.
Since we've started up till today, we've paid out about 50,000 rand just to people. And when people work on the project, we try to teach them to give their tithing. So when people get their salary immediately, they have to give their tithing, and then the tithing we put away for when people want to get married. They have got some resource for that. We've already helped 3 guys, and we're busy with the 4th wedding.
Another project still in progress is the building of the praying deck in Mamoli.
This deck to me specifically is very special because it is just a place to come and praise God. And we always say that God has given us this most beautiful place, so we also want to give something back to Him. And this is a wonderful spot where we can just come and sit down and think and pray and meditate on His Word. Thank you so much, Grace, for what you're doing here for us.
Then there were other projects that seemed to enrich the lives of the locals.
Last year when the group came, we decided normally they built a house, but we said, the people are struggling, you know, they live from the fields, and there's so many warthogs, the hippos, even the elephants, the monkeys, all these wild animals are just ruining what they're planting. So they have been asking for a long time, help us to put up a fence, and they make a community garden, and everybody from the community gets a little plot. So that is what will happen here.
This is the first house that was built by Grace Family Church in 1998 and is still being used today. Apart from Grace, other missionaries, organizations and individuals have contributed to the upliftment of living standards in this region.
If it wasn't for guys like Sean, Rob Garner, who's helped us with the school at Katwan, the Dutch embassy who's helped us to do the school at Punta Doro, these things wouldn't have happened. So we really want to say thank you, Sean. Not only the school, our vehicle, and so many other little things that Sean has done for us. I always say when our name is mentioned, Dudley's name should be mentioned and Sean's name should be mentioned, because they have done a great role in what has happened here.
So much has already been done, but there is still a need for so much more.
We've got a real transport problem. As you've heard, we work in Katwan, which is 200 kilometers from here. We're working here, we're working in Gala, we're working in Wollongong, and we've got one bakkie. And our bakkie is 5 years old, and every company that is here, they say no vehicle can hold it here because they do heavy work, always on bad roads, and we've done many buildings with our bakkie. If anybody is interested to come and say, I'd like to give a year for Christ, and just, it's very humble here. We will have to build something where people can stay, but if someone had said, I'd like to come and help for a year, maintenance, we desperately need someone to help with maintenance, so that would be wonderful as well.
It's great to be able to participate in something like that with the community, not in our church community, but the community that is there, that we support. It's quite uplifting and really refreshing, yeah. Great to be part of it.
You're such a blessing to those people there. They're just smiling, happy, they have absolutely nothing, yet they're forever happy, and you just feel so fulfilled just to be able to play your small part, because it's not all about us at all. It's all about them and all about preaching God's word and doing work.
Yes, to Grace Family Church, we haven't got words to thank them. If it wasn't for Grace's support, financially, but especially spiritually, you know, if you know there's someone that's believing in you, and someone that's praying for you, and someone that's coming to visit you, that means so much to us.
The time spent together as a team at the sunrise service on Mamoli Hill was something that will remain with us for a long time to come. The beauty of God's creation, together with our songs of praise in harmony with the breaking waves, was really a moving spiritual experience not to be forgotten.